face kick.
But can anybody stop JJ with moves like that?
There, as Z pulls up, looking for the double tap, gets it! What a...
Rocket League IQ, and Slippery Snail's just able to get one right over.
Bolton now takes the one touch, tries to find the other, gets the double tap with 1 minute.
Absolutely, we go for an air dribble play. Dark Range waiting for that pass midfield. Flip through set. Air dribble still. It's on the one, and shot is on. What a pass!
So I'm interested to see how good the Calvary and Swish will be rotating.
Rotations are, in fact, the most important aspect. As we see Swish trying to prove himself right off the bat with a flip reset, trying to dunk Mustangs before we can barely get our bearings straight here, Joe Papa.
Yeah.
Mustangs coming out with the absolute heat as I try to get back in the game here. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, and I was telling you, I was thinking Swish might just come out and get a good flip reset there, and he nearly did, but the Mustangs did get the save. And that's just the great teamwork of the Mustangs coming in, great rotations.
Absolutely, as we see another lob here off the sidewall from Calvary. They do not seem willing to let Mustangs out of their side of the field. They're taking just a heavily offensive strategy here, Joe Papa. Maybe trying not to get Kachow, or trying not to allow Kachow to set up his offense. An interesting strategy could prove effective, as their offensive capabilities so far seems to be pretty limited to Kachow, with Cubnuts and Knightley were playing primarily defensive roles. But a great save there from Scraps on the back line. Now Calvary on the back foot, trying to turn this back around on the Mustangs. Mustangs on the back heel themselves now. We're just getting back and forth gameplay. T. Carter with a beautiful demo on Cubnuts on the back line. Kachow with the save. It's just absolute chaos here, Joe.
Yeah, I'm struggling to follow all of this. And another beautiful demo from Swish. We could be seeing a big play here.
There's just so much happening. Oh, and missed opportune touch there on the sideline almost gives Calvary, Mustangs an opportunity, but Calvary unable to, Mustangs unable to actually, take advantage of it. Now Scraps trying to control on the sidewall, immediately challenged by Cubnuts. Calvary once again on the back foot. They seem to be incapable of making heads or tails out of this Mustangs defense.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, what a save! What a save by the sidebar there. And Cubnuts seems to just be doing some things right now. He's kind of flying around. I'm liking what I'm seeing from him.
Yeah, we got a lot of speedy boys here. Cubnuts primarily one of them. I trained him up well there on the Spectres. Cubnuts with the pressure completely discombobulates the Calvary defense and opens up the shot line for Kachow. He will not let that opportunity go by him. We've got Mustangs up with just over half the game down. Calvary gonna want to turn this around, gonna want to put some pressure on what otherwise seems to be a pretty passive Mustangs. It seems like so far the majority of their offensives come from counterattacks.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and I'm liking the speed of this game we're seeing. I feel like this might be the fastest pacing we've seen out of a QRLS game all week. And shout out Knightley from T. Carter especially. A little bit lower ranked players, but they're still keeping up, 50ing every chance they should be. So
for sure. Yeah, I'm not seeing anybody on this field right now just playing the back man or just the weak player right there. Kachow again takes advantage of absolute stellar challenge from Cubnuts. Again, the Cubnuts and Kachow show is on full display here.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting to see the scoreline being 2-0 when I feel like the Calvary's had the ball probably more than the Mustangs have. Probably a lot more, to be honest. It feels like Mustangs are always on defense, but they, Kachow's just kind of finding these little shots whenever they're like out of rotation, maybe a double commit on offense, things like that. And Kachow's just putting it on net every time.
Yeah, it's a thinking's man game, and right now the Mustangs are doing the majority of the thinking on the field. T. Carter there with a great challenge might open up the shooting line for Scraps, the captain, but he's unable to put enough power on that. You really got to just try to hook that in as aggressively as you can, because Kachow and Cubnuts and T. Carter, for that matter, are just they're an iron barricade on that back line. And like you said, despite them unable to really get out of their side of the field for very long, they're still able to open up opportunities. Cubnuts with the dunk in the midfield. You wouldn't even think that this is open, but an amazing 50-50 from Kachow sets that up. Cubnuts doesn't care that there's two Calvary men up for the challenge. He just tapes down his boost button and puts Mustangs up 3-0 with 30 seconds left. Nothing but a miracle will bring Calvary back in this year.
But Swish, what a goal.
As soon as I say that,
the miracle has arrived.
As soon as I say that, Swish just turns on the burners, sets up the Game Shark, and just absolutely clips on the entirety of the Mustangs. There wasn't a chance 6 seconds ago, and all of a sudden there's a chance. Let's see if Calvary manages to make lemonade out of the lemons that they've been served up this whole game. Scraps now with a long clear off the side, trying to set up that scoring opportunity for Calvary in these last 10 seconds. Can they get something? You gotta think that was their last real opportunity. A long carry sets up another challenge from the Mustangs, and will not resemble game one.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. Just facing off against Kachow in specific, just very hard. And Tubnuts and Nightleaper are just playing so good around supporting him. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe just like try and get some demos off on Kachow. Just like demos on offense, I think could be big. Because they're having a ton of shots, but
I think that's honestly one of the best ideas I've ever heard. Personal experience from playing Kachow a ton. He does not take kindly to being demoed. He's very used to being, a heavy carry in the league, both this season and in prior seasons. So that is actually a splendid idea. Hopefully, Calvary are in the chat or have the stream up in the background and are listening to your advice, because that could very well benefit them. But again, we're seeing Calvary with, once again, a good amount of field domination, which they did possess about 57 or 67% of the field domination, despite being beaten 4-1, I believe. So hopefully they manage to actually convert that field domination into goal participation, and actually even us up on this series. We've already broken the curse of the no sweeps for week one, but Swish is trying to keep us in line as much as possible. He gets the first goal for the Calvary, and he gives them a hope here to avoid the dreaded week one sweep.
Yeah, and to be honest, I feel like that was the first time
immediately Kachow just absolutely, dusts the kickoff from the second man. Pretty fortunate bounce there, so can't credit him too much, but his speed was very impressive. Immediately Mustangs equalize.
Yeah, now it's a 1-1 game. I mean, big boom from Nightleaper. Scraps is up to meet it, though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's
definitely a little hard to predict, because every time it seems like Calvary have got a leg up, something goes wrong, but something has gone very right there. Not entirely sure what happened on the Mustangs backline defense. It seems like they just assumed that a shot was coming in and they just panicked, but they had so much time to get that ball out of there. Um, you know, that free camera movement on your right thumbstick is very useful. I highly recommend that everybody get accustomed to looking around for a potential attacker before they just try to panic clear that and score on their own net. But Kachao says, no worry, I'll go ahead and return the favor on the opposing side net. 2 minutes 51 seconds remaining. We've got yet again a tied game.
Yeah, I mean, Kachao's just, it feels like every time the Calvary gets a goal, Kachao just scores in like the next 10 seconds. So that's, it's kind of rough. But I mean, it's a 2-2 game, so definitely anyone's game here.
Yeah, and even if the worst happens and Calvary is swept here, not saying it's going to happen, especially with shots like that. Granted, that was Mustangs. I should say saves like that on the back line of Calvary. They can keep in mind that their star player Coltab is still off the field, so the fact that they're able to keep up with one of the highest rated teams of this season, the Mustangs, is still extremely impressive. So they've got nothing but improvement in their future, and if they're still in this series, Papa, they can still win this if they manage to just cut off the offense of this Cubnuts and Kachao steam train that we got going.
Wow, great save there. But yeah, and now it feels like the Mustangs have kind of taken over the offense here. Just kind of getting shot after shot, which we've not really been seeing in the past game and a half here.
A lot of confidence there from the captain, Scraps, believing in his team on the back line. That's one of the hallmarks of a great captain, is just confidence in his team, and it might be paying off. Another shot on target, saved by, I believe that was a Knight Leaper, another league veteran, former captain of the Cyclones. The experience on the field right now is definitely showing out. Amazing improvement we've seen from players such as Knight Leaper. Swish is trying to clear it out, but it's just so awkward, and Kachao is never going to let that ball exit the scoring line without at least putting one shot on target. Mustangs up with 3-2 with a minute left. Do you think there's any shot for Calvary to salvage this series?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, quick break right here, maybe could do it. Swish on the ball. That's how many of their other goals have been scored. And I think a little team bump there. That could be the opportunity.
Absolutely. You see them. I really actually love the amount of offensive pressure that they're putting on. They're recognizing when these awkward plays are coming out from Mustangs, and they're keeping the pressure, but their touches aren't what needs to happen. And Cubnuts, Mustangs in general, but also Cubnuts specifically, they're just so consistent, so reliable. Their patience is just unflappable. They will wait for Calvary to make a mistake, and then they will capitalize. And that is what I think has been the difference maker here, as T. Carter misreads that slow lob onto the Calvary side of the net. Now again, Mustangs seemingly in full control, but Swish manages to get a little bit more offensive pressure. Can they turn this into a scoring opportunity? They really only have like one more possession to really salvage this game. To a pass into the mid, Cubnuts up, tries to set it up for Kachao, but unable to. Knight Leaper chasing on the sidewall, manages to get back in the mid, and the time management pressure from. But that's just the thing. Each member of the Mustangs is just so well equipped and so patient at just playing their role in the field, that they don't really need to take over Kachao's role and attack the Calvary net, because as you can see there, Kachao's pretty much just got it on the lock, and all they have to do is facilitate another shot. I think it's been less than 30 seconds there. You've already had 3 shots on the Calvary net.
Yeah, I mean, and to kind of piggyback off what you're saying, I do think like, we're really not seeing too much of Night Leaper, for instance, but he's kind of just always there where he needs to be, always like back, just kind of booming it back out for when Kachow inevitably does get beat occasionally. And, it's just kind of working.
It really is. It really is working, and like I mentioned it briefly earlier, but the improvement that we're seeing here from Night Leaper, from T Carter, who has been just present in a beautiful slot there from Kachow from the sidewall. Don't want to let it go unnoticed. A great challenge there. It completely caught the defense unaware. Who would expect a shot from that position? But yeah, so as I was saying, T Carter, he's a rookie, but he's been around the league for, I believe, 2 or 3 seasons at this point, and he's a part of pretty much every free agent scramble that I can recall. Just now being thrust into the fold of league play, so you gotta think that's wearing on him a little bit, and just the absolute nerves of stream play is something that even GCs and SSLs can't really understand until they get into it. So I feel like that, combined with just the crazy good dynamic and chemistry that we're seeing from the Mustangs here, just didn't really give Calvary the proper opportunity to actually be competitive here. That being said, we've got 3 minutes left, and it's only a 1-goal game. They can definitely avoid the sweep here.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, especially with the nerves, the Mustangs, they really don't have those nerves, because they're all just kind of, they've played for all of them over like 2 seasons, I think. So they're probably just kind of feeling good.
For sure, and a great pass there from T Carter. As soon as I got done speaking with him, he sets up a great assist there off the back wall. Really, that's all you gotta do. You don't gotta linger around. You don't gotta look for a highlight reel play. You just gotta put it on target, and Swish will take the reins of Calvary himself. He doesn't want to sweep on his first game of season 7. Love to see it. Love to see the drive. That young man is going above and beyond to prove himself tonight. I want to see a little bit more from the captain, Scraps. He's been working on the back line, trying to set up a foundation for his team, but he's so good at offensive pressure. I know he's got what it takes, but T Carter out of nowhere just comes out of the woodwork and absolutely clatters the back of the Mustangs net over Kachow, over Cubnuts. What a shot from the rookie.
Yeah, I'm loving the gameplay I'm seeing from T Carter. His offense is
He's so good.
So good. His aerials are really, really good. Especially considering he's the lower ranked player on the Calvary.
That's what I'm saying.
And I mean, he's about my level, I believe, and he's pulling some shots that I cannot hit. So
this guy is joining joining the ranks of some of the most underrated players on the league as we speak. 2 minutes do still remain, and 2 minutes is basically a lifetime in Rocket League time, so definitely don't want to get complacent for Calvary. But T Carter again trying to make a name for himself in the first game. The first match. Once again, it's like they never expect him. You don't expect the Spanish Inquisition, and you don't expect T Carter to come out of nowhere. Mustangs definitely on the back heel for this game 3. It's looking like it's the Calvary show and really the T Carter show right now.
Yeah, T Carter, 2 goals, 2 assists. That's 100% goal participation there. I mean, that's fantastic. I'm loving the gameplay I'm seeing from T Carter.
Absolutely, great call out there on the goal participation, because I had just gotten done saying how I wanted Scraps to be more involved in the offense, but clearly he knows the tools that are at his disposal, and one of those tools is T Carter, because he is just going absolutely buck wild. Now we're seeing Swish trying to just dominate on the corner there. Risky back pass, I mean calculated back pass there from Scraps. With 1 minute remaining, you gotta think it's all but over here for the Mustangs. Short of just a miracle offensive pressure, but right now we're just seeing just snappy gameplay from Calvary.
Yeah, I mean, this is nothing like the other two games we saw, and I really do wonder if maybe you were onto something with the nerves, and perhaps the nerves were kind of getting to him the first two games, because now Swish and T Carter feel like one of the best like offensive duos
Like
I've
completely
seen in
different
the league.
players, right?
Yeah,
It's
I
kind
mean
of
they're just
nuts.
passing back and forth.
Yeah, like I mean, once you really once you really work those out, it's your whole team just elevates. And you know, if we had a few more seconds, this shot right now, and never mind, we don't need a few more seconds on the clock. As soon as it is 0 seconds, Swish just smacks it in the back. You know, the goal differential is gonna look a little strange because